Hey out there Akronites, welcome once again to Around Akron with Blue Green. Now this episode is going to feel a little bit different, going to look a little bit different. Matter of fact, the whole thing's going to be different itself, much like life today. But there's good news on this bright and sunny day here in Akron, Ohio. We survived the flu pandemic in 1918, and we're going to survive this just fine. This episode is all about the public and how a lot of those things in the public are going to change, or what they're calling it, the new normal. We're going to head to downtown Akron and meet up with Howard Parr at the Akron Civic and see what they're doing and all the upcoming things they have coming out in the next year. Then we're going to head down the street to the Akron-Summit County Public Library and talk with Pamela J. Hickson-Stevenson all about the Akron Library and the amazing digital things you can get online without even going downtown. Then I'm going to head over to a Summit Metro Park and talk with Lindsay Smith all about the amazing things that the Summit Parks offer here in Akron. Now to kick this show off today, we're going to talk all about public transportation in the city of Akron. It's been around a long time. Matter of fact, it's vital. It keeps the blood pumping through the system of the city of Akron. Now we're going to talk to Dawn Disler of the Akron Metro RTA. We're going to see how they're surviving this and how they're making it a safe environment for you to ride the Akron Metro RTA. Let's go see what they're all about.
For the first time ever in my career, I've been doing this for 32 years, and for the first time in my career, we're actually asking people not to ride the bus. We're asking them, if you don't have to go out, if you don't have to be on the bus, please keep yourself safe, keep our bus operators safe, keep the other passengers that have to go out safe, and stay home. It's been kind of different for us because, like I said, we're actually asking people not to ride. We're asking people to stay home unless it's necessary, if it's life necessary. And we kind of gave that, we gave that an actual name. If you're not going to work, going to some type of a medical appointment or some type of a medical place where you're picking up a prescription, something like that, or you're going to a grocery store to get food, we wanted you to stay home. A lot of people in our community were going to end up either being furloughed or being laid off, or it was going to put people in the community at a disadvantage. So we like to be a partner in our community. We're not just there to have a bus that somebody can get on. We're also there to help the community in any way that we can. So first of all, we wanted to help the community. And then second of all, we were trying really hard to keep our bus operators as safe as possible. So by not having to stop at the fare box when a passenger got on the bus and pay fares, we were able to just get people right on past the bus operator. We also took the front seats, which are seats that fold up for wheelchairs that come on the bus, mobility devices. And what we did was we folded those seats up so the mobility devices could still be secured, but it forced people to move even further back from the bus operator. That allowed us more physical distancing in order to try to keep our bus operators as safe as possible while, like I said before, while they're providing that essential service. What this is a mobile app, and it's a mobile app that allows you to pay for your fare on the app with a credit card and be able to not have to carry around cash or have to carry around even physical tickets. All you do is show the ticket to your bus operator, and then the allows you to just get on and sit down. The Easy Fare, we think, is going to be also very cool for when we do start to get back up to normal. I just don't see this. I don't see the normal being around anymore. I see us having a whole brand new normal. Let's face it, although money is nice to have, money is one of the dirtiest forms of currency that we can have. I think a lot of people are going to gravitate more to this mobile type fare. One of the things that's very cool is One of the things I think that is so cool about it is it provides an area for people to actually wait for their buses without being out in the elements if they don't want to be. Inside, it's heated, it's air conditioned, there are public restrooms, there are vending machines. There was a cafe in there where people could get some lunch or a snack. There was also a Greyhound bus terminal that was in there. Our customer service was in there. You could go in and we had an ATM machine. We had TVs up so people could see the news or the weather, what was going on. So you're right. It had has a very modern feel to it. One of the things that's really neat, even for me, is 25, 30 years ago, I was a bus operator here in Akron, and I remember lining up on Main Street and people running, from bus to bus, trying to figure out, okay, which bus is this? Where's the bus? Well, now there's a bay for each bus. You know where that bus is going to be. They're numbered. You don't have to guess, oh, is the Eastland bus over here or is it over here? No, it's always going to be right there. So I think it's given people a sense of security also, because it is secure. It is manned by a security team, which is there. I just think that it's helped us to evolve. It's evolved from just where are these buses going to be? When are they going to show up? To here's where they are. Here's when the next one is, and you can come down and just enjoy the amenities that are there. I would say that the biggest thing is I'm just really proud of this group. I mean, you talked a little bit about how there is a fear, and there is a fear. Some of these folks, much like police officers or the first responders in the medical field, these folks come to work every day, and they're afraid to come into contact with folks who might have this virus, folks who might spread the virus. And just the fact that these guys come to work every day, they do their jobs. Like I said, I don't think I'm overreacting when I call them my heroes and sheroes, because this is a team effort. It's a group that's like a family. I'm very proud of them. And all of us have, come to work every day and tried to make sure that not only are we providing the service now, but what type of service can we provide that's safe as we move into the future.
Now I'm going to meet up with Howard Parr and talk all about the Akron Civic Theater, how it's changing, all the new things that are coming out in the next year, and how it's going to be there for you in the future as well. Let's go see what the Akron Civic Theater is all about.
It was supposed to be a hippodrome. That was what the name of the building was going to be. And all they built in 1918, 1919 was the entry arcade. The actual building itself, where the theater is, didn't get built till 1927. So the Hippodrome project never got built, just the entryway off of Main Street. And I think the building itself, what people know of as the Civic, started being built in 1927. So it was a gap of a good 6, 7, 8 years between when the entryway got built and then the rest of the theater got built. The conventional wisdom was that being outside was safer than being inside, then creating an environment that made people feel like they were outside makes a lot of sense. I think it also tied into the fact that it was less expensive to build a ceiling that had stars and clouds than it was to build a ceiling that had all that ornate plasterwork. So it was probably a combination of both things, where they came up with, wait a minute, we can spend less money and we can make people feel better. That's a win-win. We did a restoration of the theater in 2002, and we ran out of money. like we couldn't finish the project. So we raised, I think, about $20 million, and that got most of the theater done. It got the new bathrooms, it got the stage redone, but we needed, 5, 6, 7 more to finish the rest of the project. So that didn't happen, and it's just happening now. I mean, we literally, it took us from 2002 to now, so 18 years to be able to get the money together, and that was all, fortunately, all that work and all that money was raised prior to the pandemic. So we are moving forward with that work. all, I mean, there may be some slight adjustments in terms of the timeline, but as far as the basic overall, we just saw steel start to go up on the new construction. That'll be the new box office, new administrative office, and a new entryway to the front part of the theater. We are moving forward with the interior restoration so that line will disappear inside. The new White Law project, where the 200-seat club will be, is moving along, and we're contracted with a mural artist for one of the murals. We're still looking for another. So really, everything should be done by September, October, including the new construction, the murals, everything. And then we'll be finishing the whole project up in summer of 2021 with a exterior video wall. Our plans always were, when we opened the new space in the White Law building, was to basically immediately Facebook Live broadcast everything that could be done that way. Certain things wouldn't have been able to because of rights or whatever. But so that was always our plan, and before any of this happened. If we do that and it is successful and people are using it and it looks like it, like anything else, I could definitely see a point where we would then add additional cameras and upgrade the production values from Facebook Live to a more professional broadcast. Lots of people are out there, doing shows, putting up tip jars, and if an artist, and we're just kind of throwing numbers around, but if an artist is able to go out there, go online, put up a tip jar, and do $200, $300 in tips that night through their PayPal or whatever they have, for some of those artists as solo artists, they weren't doing that at a coffee shop that they were playing on a Friday night. So I'm not, and when they get to the point of we are able to go back out and we're able to be in a coffee shop again, what says that the artist can't still do that online and have it be part of their overall model of how they sustain themselves as artists? And I see that going all the way up the chain, from solo local artists through to a major national act that can not only tour, but in addition to touring, they can periodically throughout the year do these live virtual events and pick up some additional revenue and keep their operation going. We all know that when we come out of this, we're going to be a different society than we were going in. Things are going to change. But what I'm seeing already is that there are 3 or 4 things we're doing right now that absolutely will be in effect once we reopen, that will change the way the Civic Theater impacts the community. Some of the virtual stuff that we're doing online, where we're offering shows online, that stuff's not going to end once you can come see a show live in the theater. It'll be another avenue by which the Civic Theater is putting out content, and so that's for sure. And I think there's some other things that'll be going on in terms of the way we communicate, the way that how we treat health-related issues around the building. These are all things that are not going to just stop because all of a sudden we're all better, So I think there's really some positive things that are going to come out of all this. It's a very, very difficult situation for a lot of people. There's no question. There are a lot of people that are really, really suffering from this. And, hopefully we're all going to get through this together, but when we come out the other side, we're going to be better for it.
Next up, I'm here at the main library in downtown Akron. And in my research, I found out that the 1918 flu pandemic, New York City shut the libraries down for at least 6 months to curb the spread of the pandemic. The lessons we learned from them are being applied today. Now I'm going to meet up with Pamela J. Hickson-Stevenson and learn all about how the Akron-Summit County Public Library is adjusting and how most of the stuff you need you can get online. Let's go see what they're all about.
When we first closed our buildings to the public, we were trying to think of ways to stay connected with our community. The majority of our relationships are face-to-face. We have our regular customers at all of our locations who come in daily, weekly, whatever the case may be. We knew that with the buildings being closed, we weren't going to be able to maintain those friendships and relationships that have been developed over the years. So we looked to social media, which of course has already functioned as a connector for us, but we looked to social media as a way to boost that, particularly in the time of the buildings being closed. We wanted to get the word out that while the buildings were closed, the library was still open, virtually of course, but still open. And we wanted to provide fun programming for all ages, but particularly for children and preschoolers who we knew were going to be missing story times that they attended. So our staff jumped on board very quickly and did that. And we are continuing to do that and expanding it a bit with some other folks in our organization and outside of the organization to do story times as well. Wi-Fi at each of our 19 locations, so ranging from Main Library in downtown Akron to Green and Springfield Lakemore in the southern area to Richfield and Nordonia Hills in the north, east, west, all 19 of our locations offer free Wi-Fi. I would be remiss to not mention that the other independent libraries in Summit County also offer free Wi-Fi outside of their buildings. And we've been meeting, the directors of all 7 libraries have been meeting regularly. We're discussing strategies for phasing in or reopening once the governor gives us the green light to start doing some of that work. So we're all looking forward to getting back to face-to-face business as soon as we can, but it will be a slow and phased-in approach. For the short term, we will be focusing on creating ways to make social distancing easier in the library. We are going to be looking at the signage that we need to do that. You've probably seen, if you've been to any grocery stores, there are stickers on the floors showing where to stand. Some grocery stores have done one-way aisles. So we are actually looking quite a bit to grocery stores for ideas on how to manage it. There are some similarities there, right? We both have shelves that hold things that people want, and they have to go through a checkout process. And so it's a good model for us to look for examples. Other things that we will do for social distancing will probably include removing chairs from tables so that fewer people can sit there, perhaps placing greater spaces between armchairs that are there just for relaxing and reading a paper, for instance, not sitting at a table. We will be looking at ways to create greater distance between public computers that people will use. We are also looking at installing plexiglass, again, the way grocery stores have done. It's a lot like a shield over a salad bar. It provides some protection both for our staff and for our customers. So those are short-term issues. I think long-term, I think it's going to be a mixed bag. I think that the discovery that many people have made of all the virtual services that are available will probably stay in place. I think more and more people will find that they enjoy that. But I also think that a lot of people will have really missed their visits to library buildings. And I mean this all over the country, not just the Akron-Summit County Public Library System. People really develop relationships. There are relationships between our staff and our customers. And I think folks who enjoy being with people, seeing people, more extroverted than introverted, will want to get back to visiting the library on a frequent basis. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Those are some pretty basic observations. I think the other thing that's important to remember is that this is probably just the first of more viruses that will be coming down the road. We don't know when, we don't know how serious or how severe, but this is actually sort of a dress rehearsal for dealing with this on a more frequent basis moving ahead into the years to come.
I'm going to meet up with Lindsay Smith and learn all about the Summit Metro Park system, because today the park systems are more important than ever. We need to get out and enjoy nature at a safe distance. Let's go see what the Summit Metro Parks are all about.
It's 14,000 acres across Summit County. We are truly everywhere. Our tagline is "We're your backyard," and we really mean that for most people. We are everywhere, and so a lot of it is due to the generosity of so many people. So much of our parkland was donated by families and just folks early on in our history. Small acquisitions here or there have brought us to where we're at now. But it's wonderful to be in charge of what we're in charge of, because we're able to conserve so much wildlife, provide green space for people, and really provide that environment that we need in our county to thrive. Parks have very much become iconic for so many people around here, and it is really easy to take them for granted. We hear that all the time, on social media, people reaching out by email. They tell us all the time that they've moved away and they had no idea that this doesn't exist other places. So they're really underwhelmed a lot of times when they head out to a new spot and realize that Summit County is not how it is everywhere. So we're very lucky, and it's really due to the generosity of so many people who let us continue what we do. And so I think a lot of the parks that people think of the most are probably the ones around Akron, which are our oldest parks. So Sand Run Metro Park, certainly. I don't know that there's anyone in the Akron area who hasn't taken a drive through the vehicle Ford. I know I was blown away. I felt like a little kid again, splashing through the water. So I think that is definitely one that folks remember. And certainly Goodyear Heights Metro Park is another one. As you mentioned, Firestone Metro Park. These are tied to Akron's early industrial days and the communities that were set up in those areas. I think a lot of folks have great memories of those parks, and they continue to be some of our most popular parks. So there's certainly a lot of parks that are clustered around the Akron area, and then as time has gone on, we've spread out and made sure that we're throughout the county. At this point, we're probably over 150. We've been adding some mileage here and there, including mountain bike trails. So our hiking trails, as you mentioned, are very diverse. There's really something for everyone, and we do that intentionally. So someone who would visit summitmetroparks.org and looked through our lists of parks and trails would see that we have a key that indicates what type of trail, like what type of surface we're talking about, whether that be paved, crushed limestone, primitive, just earth. And then it has a number 1 through 3 that will indicate the level of difficulty on that trail. So that way folks can choose the ones that are right for them. Regular bicyclists have been using our multi-purpose trails for years, but more recently we have added special mountain bike trails that are made specifically for mountain bikers who want that type of experience. So we have mountain bike trails in the mountain bike area of Hampton Hills Metro Park in Akron. So we call it part of Hampton Hills Metro Park, although it's separate. So it's off Tice Road. We have, over 7 miles of mountain bike trails now, and they're always adding to them. So I think, we're sort of halfway through what we envision we could have in that area. So there are all types of levels of mountain bike trails as well, beginner through advanced. So we've gotten great feedback from our mountain biking community. Folks love them. It's really exciting. So if you're new, we've got a loop where it's not too difficult, but if you really want that adventure, they're really something. I don't know how folks do it. I'm not a mountain biker. Right now is definitely an unprecedented time. We are seeing very heightened park usage, which is a great thing because we want to be there for people, and we want people to have that release and that place where they can go and unwind and have somewhere to remain physically and mentally healthy through such trying times. So parks are open as an essential activity as deemed by the state of Ohio, which is great. We do ask that folks observe a few special considerations when they come visit us. So certainly staying home if you're sick, making sure to wash hands, hand sanitizer. We have some of our restrooms are not open right now just due to supply shortages and to keep the public safe. So just making sure to prepare ahead of time for that. And then of course, everybody's favorite, we want to socially distance from one another. So that's staying 6 feet apart from each other, even though you're outside in the park, it's still important to maintain distance. We tell folks that now is the time you might want to visit a new park that maybe won't be as busy as some of our more popular areas. So, check out our website and find a park that is maybe a little bit further than you typically go if you're able to get out. But we have a few options of areas listed on our website that are typically not as busy. So it's just something to keep in mind when folks come out.
Thank you once again for watching this episode of Around Akron with Blue Green. Now, if you have any questions, comments, or you just want to drop me an email, you can reach me at www.aroundakronwithbluegreen.com, or you can find me on Facebook or on Instagram. Remember, stay safe and stay happy. Thank you, and have an amazing day.